Shalom, shalom. First off, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kadash, and shalom to my elders of GMS who taught me this truth, and shalom to you brothers that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching His gospel, preaching His word. We're just going to allow us to do so. So shalom to you brothers. Just want to talk about this whole situation that this says fired Michigan coach threatened to kill himself during home invasion following dismissal, prosecutors said. So basically, what happened was, he was a married man. You know, he was dealing with an Edomite woman. He had some kids, and he's a football coach at the University of Michigan. And basically, he was having an affair with one of his staffers. You know, and somehow he got caught. I'm not sure of the details too much. I don't know if she said something or they said it was some type of Uber driver or something like that. Kind of ratted him out because when he went to go, I don't know, he ordered an Uber driver somehow, and the guy knew who he was. I don't. Yeah, that part I'm not too sure of. You know what I mean? Kind of conflicting a little bit, but yeah. So basically, he got caught, and now, you know, he got fired from it, and then when he got fired, you know, he went to his the woman that he was having an affair with, and basically pulled out a knife on her. Well, he pulled out a knife on himself, threatened to kill himself because he lost his job. You know what I mean? Dude was devastated, whatever. You know what I mean? So he crashed out, and this is why, my father once told me. He said, never shit where you sleep at. You know what I mean? You don't do this where you make your bread and butter, where you take care of your family, where you eat, Like he has no dick discipline. I'm just saying, just like that, no dick discipline. You know what I mean? You gotta have discipline. No one's saying that you can't have, you can't deal with other women. It's lawful to deal with other women. If you have a wife and you want another wife, whatever, or you want something on the side. You know what I mean? That's lawful, but to do that and to, I mean? It was just sloppy. It was just sloppy. You're bound to get caught. Someone's going to say something. Someone's going to snitch. Someone's going to rat you out because you have haters too. And your haters are going to, they're going to do you in. This is why, the scriptures say, hey, listen, no, this is not our rest. This is not our rest. We can't get what we really want here. You know what I mean? Especially the Jake man, Can't get what we want. Then, you fucking, you're dealing with, these Edomites and, and you do one of them wrong, whatever, and then they tend to take everything away from you. They tend to make an example out of you. You gotta be careful out here, you know what I mean? You gotta move different out here. He wasn't using wisdom at all, and he's a young man. He was a young coach. He was only 39 years old. I'm 39. You know what I mean? He still had, he had his whole life ahead of him, with the University of Michigan. Man was making like $5 million a year. Let me just read some of this a little bit. I ain't gonna read, yeah. This is where it says former University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore barged into a former lover's home and threatened to kill himself, telling her that his blood is on your hands. Prosecutors said Friday. Moore, 39, was charged with alleged home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering following his shocking arrest, termination from one of the sport's most prestigious jobs. Okay. The alleged home invasion is a felony, while the other two charges were filed as misdemeanors against Moore, who has been held at the Washtenaw County Jail, about 4 miles from the Michigan Stadium, where he'd been head of the storied Wolverines football program. Moore appeared in a video feed wearing an all-white jail uniform and heard authorities explain how he allegedly slashed out over the romantic relationship that had ended. The victim had been in a years-long relationship with the married Moore when she allegedly broke it off with him on Monday, according to Katie Mersky, first assistant prosecutor for Washtenaw County. Moore allegedly reacted by making numerous phone calls and sending numerous texts before the woman eventually presented herself to the University of Michigan and cooperated in some form of investigation, according to Rez Mersky. Um, let's see, I'm going to read the last part. Moore allegedly barged into the woman's home through an unlocked door without permission on Wednesday and grabbed 2 butter knives and a pair of scissors. Pittsfield Chapter Township Police said, "I'm going to kill myself," Rez Mersky told the court, quoting the defendant's alleged words to the victim. "I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life." The woman called her lawyer and told Moore she was going to call police before he left, prosecutors said. Moore was picked up without incident, police said. Magistrate Adet Tala on Friday granted Moore $25 on bail and ordered him to wear a GPS monitor and stay away from his former girlfriend. He was no longer in jail, booking records Friday evening. Okay, that's it on that. Yeah, so we got the point. He got upset. Went over to that either way side chick house, and threatening that he was gonna kill himself. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is bad, man. This is just bad. Hey, you know what? He can bounce back from this and get another job. But I don't know, man. I just I think they're gonna make an example out of this man. I just think he's gonna be made an example out of. And it's unfortunate. Hey, Jake got to move better. And Jake got to understand this is not their rest. Obviously he's not in the truth. I'm pretty sure he don't know anything about the truth. He was just living his life. Being the head Michigan coach for the football team, and making millions of dollars, and living the life. Got his Edomite woman by his side, and everything all good, and then till it wasn't. And yeah, this is why we have to wait to the kingdom, man. When everything gets put back in order, when the men are going to be in rulership. Not this fucking feminization and these women on top and these women ruling over us and this system oppressing us, and this shit is whack, man. This shit is corny as fuck, man. This whole fucking system is against the Israelite man. A nigga gotta walk on eggshells in this society, man, in this world. You do anything, one little thing wrong, man, that's your ass. That's your ass. You know what I mean? And I blame him. I blame him for this shit, man, because you don't shit where you sleep at, man. You don't shit where you sleep at. You have children. You know what I mean? You have your whole. You know what I mean? That's where you lay your head, and that's where well, not, damn, what the fuck am I talking about? That's where you make your bread and butter. You know what I mean? This is where, you take care of your family. You know what I mean? You feed yourself. You can't do that to yourself. He shouldn't have done that to himself. This is where he fucked up at. You don't deal with no fucking, a staff or somebody that's, you know what I mean? A coworker or whatever. That's a no-no. That's too close to home. Shit can get fucked up. Jealousy comes into play. You know what I mean? She'll tell you nah, I think we need to be in a relationship. I think you need to leave your wife and children. This is what they do. This is what happens. You know what I mean? Especially if you just having you having this ongoing relationship, this ongoing affair. You know what I mean? This is what's going to happen after a while. You're a prestige, high-level coach. She's going to want that. She's going to want that all to herself. You know what I mean? And she's going to cause trouble for you if you do not give her what she wants. Yeah, but you know what? Hey, you know what? He be all right. He'll learn. He's learning right now. So that's it. That's all. That's, you know what I mean? That's all I want to talk about. You know what I mean? Lord willing, I hope this was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.